Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome to my channel. I am Justin. Today my video is going to be about my coming out story. Um, so I'll just go ahead and get into it. I'll just start with I always kind of knew that I was a little different. I wasn't really into football or really like any sports or anything like that. So um my dad would try to get me to play like football and stuff, and I wouldn't do it. Like, I just didn't care for it. I would rather draw or sing or write. That was my thing. Um, so like by the time that I got to middle school is when I started to have a crush on this guy. So like seventh grade, there was this guy that was in my class and I had a crush on him, but I didn't realize it then, and I did not have the language to say, I'm gay, or that I liked him. I just knew that I really wanted to hang out with him. I wanted to like be around him. I thought he was really, really cool. Um, and so, like I said, at the time I didn't have the language, didn't really pursue anything. I had like one girlfriend when I was in like the sixth or seventh grade that I don't even really like count as a real relationship. Like, we didn't do anything. It was like the class kind of put us together. It was like, you're quiet, she's quiet, y'all go together now. And we were just like, okay, we go together now. So get to like seventh and eighth grade, and I guess because of the way that I act, I'm being called a fag like every other day. Like, middle school was really, 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 really trash. It was horrible. Like, it grew to a point where I just wanted to be done with school, period, because of like the way that everyone was acting. Like, people would like gang up on me that didn't even know me. Like, I didn't talk to barely anyone other than my best friend, and then he got wrapped into the mix because he wasn't gay, but he was my best friend, and so we were always together, and we had like almost every class together. So they started calling us a couple and stuff like that, which is weird. He stuck by my side then when I wasn't out, but when I did come out in adulthood, like, he like dipped. So, Anyway, um, seventh and eighth grade, like, I had like crushes on like different celebrities. Like, I guess the first real crush that I had was like Jude Law and Ricky Martin. Like, I was like obsessed with Ricky Martin. Like, I was always trying to find pictures of him. Like, all sorts of stuff. And then I'd seen this really, really, really letting me know that I was like gay. I would see like male nudity in movies, and I would keep rewinding those parts. I remember the first one was Jude Law in The Talented Mr. Ripley, and I kept just like rewinding it and pausing it. And I would just find movies with male nudity because I didn't know what a porn was. So let's fast forward a little bit to the internet age and discovering actual porn. My parents had this family computer, and I had been like looking up, just different stuff and celebrity crushes and, nude celebrity crushes, things like that. And I did not know about deleting your browser history. I didn't know anything about that. I just thought when you got on the internet and you surfed and you got off and you closed everything out, it was done. Like, you were done. Like, there were times where I almost got caught looking at something, but I closed out the windows. I just figured it was done. So one day my daddy is at the computer and he calls my mom's name and he's like, come here, look at this shit, look at this. So everybody, I have four other siblings. Everybody starts surrounding the computer and looking, and my daddy is just reading off the search history. Ricky Martin nude, this one nude, that one nude, da 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 da. So my sister, she was like, does this look familiar, Justin? And I'm like, bitch, really? Like, but But I was just like, no, like it don't look familiar to me. So later on, after all of that was done, like my daddy sat with me by myself, and he was just like, did you look up that stuff, Jay? Like, your mama thinks that you did it, but I told her I don't think that you did it. Because there was also like what gave me a way out was that there was like searches for lesbian stuff, and like I was looking up like teen help for like being gay, because I kept trying to like pray it away, but it wouldn't come the fuck up off of me. It would not come the fuck up off of me. So I was like, nah, daddy, I didn't do it. Like, ask Rachel or Shay. Like, those are dudes. They may, ask my sisters. Ask my sisters. I was like, they may know more than I. And they left it alone. They did not talk about it again. Fast forward to me, being in high school, and the faggot stuff is still going on. I'm just like, whatever at this point. I'm just laying low and just waiting to get out of high school, get to adulthood, and I start working. And I'm not really out, but I'm on my own. And once I get on my own, I start to like discover, more of what goes on in the gay community, all that sort of thing. So, I remember I started working at this grocery store, and I met my friend, and she was a lesbian, and she had already clocked me, so she already knew. And I didn't really tell her. She would just kind of ask me questions here and there about, I guess trying to find out who I thought was attractive or whatever. So she was kind of feeling me out, and I was trying to feel her out. And I ended up moving in with her later on. And then I stopped working at that grocery store with her, and I ended up getting a job at Walmart. When I got to Walmart, I met my friend, I'll call him Brandon. I met Brandon, and we got to hanging out and stuff, and like Brandon, like that was like another serious crush that I had. So I kept posting about the crush, because this was when like Facebook was still new, MySpace was fairly new still. Social media, pretty new. So I kept posting about the crush. He asked me about the crush when we were like hanging out one day at McDonald's. And I told him that it was him. He didn't really reciprocate the feelings, but we hung out, and it was all good. Like, he was like the first, person I came out to. So I'm starting to become more and more comfortable with myself. Like, at the time that I came out, there wasn't really much resources on how to come out or safe places and all that sort of stuff when I did come out. And I was already out of my parents' house, so that was something I didn't have to worry about anyway. But to be honest, like, my daddy had asked me a few times, are you gay? Are you gay? Are you gay? Do you think I'm gonna kick you out if you are gay? Like, you my son? And, I would always say no, but, he would say stuff like, if you tell me, we just gonna take you to the church and get you some help. And that for me just was not the right solution. I didn't really want, my business out on like Front Street like that. Like, so I was just trying to, avoid all of that madness. So after the situation with Brandon, it started to become, I was becoming more and more comfortable with myself. I was kind of like, bye or whatever. So then I started hanging out with my cousin Heavy, and I tell her that I'm gay, and she doesn't think anything of it. She's like wanting to go to the gay club, and that's what we did. We hit the gay club, and I had fun. And so, mind you, we come from like a sort of religious background, so I thought it was gonna be, my coming out story is not as bad as a lot of people's. Like, I didn't get kicked out or anything. Like I said, I was already, I was living on my own already when I did come out. So by the time it got around to like my mom, it was more so like still like heavy rumors and like proof, because Justin's doing all of this stuff on Facebook, this, gay or gay centered. So basically what happened is I got in my second relationship with this guy, And around the time that I was with this guy, I had found my biological father on Facebook, and that is a whole other video, man. Like, whew. So I found him, and I had gotten into contact with him. I had called him while his daughter, I don't really claim as my sibling. Again, that's another story. His daughter had come over, and she gave me her phone, and he had said some stuff to me. It was something to the effect that he hadn't reached out to me because he'd seen on Facebook that I was gay and I was posting things, and he just could not, he couldn't bear having part in raising a woman trapped in a man's body. And I'm just like, this is not even what that is. That's just like how just ignorant people are. And anyway, he said like some more harsh stuff to me. Mind you, this is my very first conversation with him ever. I had never talked to this man, never met this man in person, and the conversation just went left so quickly. So after that, I'm like crying. I am like, my cousins are there. I'm crying my eyes out. And I don't cry. Like I don't cry, but I could not stop crying because I always looked at him as this, you know, savior on this white horse for me because of some of the stuff that I had been through. And he just wasn't that. And so I ended up going over to my mom's house and telling her about it because I was just like so beat up and broken down about it. And she was pretty much cool. She was just like, you can't worry about, you know, people like that. You've got to do you. You've got to go and, you know, make your own way. And you're my child, you know. And that's just first and foremost. Like, she's just like, you my child, and that's what comes first, you know, bump everything else. So it was cool. She had met my second boyfriend was the one that she had first met, and she didn't have no issue with it. And you know, to this day, like, I've had conversations with my mom about boys and just stuff that goes on in the gay community and just all types of stuff. I've had, you know, it's never been an issue. Just like how she talks to my sisters about their boyfriends or their husbands, and she talks to my brother about, you know, his girlfriends. She talks to me about my relationship, or she asks about my partner, which I think is pretty cool, pretty open-minded. Even my daddy surprised the fuck out of me a couple of years ago because I was trying to avoid he and my partner like ever meeting, and I did good for like some years, probably like about 8 years out of the relationship with my partner. Like, they had never met, but my daddy was just like so cool and chill, and like it really wasn't a big deal to him, honestly. I really got to give him credit for that. Like, you know, so, I say that to say this, everybody's story is not the same. If you do not feel safe coming out, I would wait until you have a way out to proceed with coming out, because I know people are in their own situations with their parents. Parents can be, you know, some people have really homophobic parents. I've heard all types of like horror stories. I'm just very blessed that mine was not like that, especially within the Black community. They're very, very quick to bash you if you're gay, and just, we're already within the Black community dealing with like so much toxic masculinity as is. I'm just really thankful that pretty much everybody that's been close to me has been supportive about it. So yeah, that is my coming out story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it gives you the courage to come out, or get in a situation where you can be yourself outside of your parents' household, or whoever you're living with that's making you not feel comfortable about coming out. But what I really, really hope is that one day we won't have to have these coming out stories at all. That's what I really hope, is that we don't have to have them at all. So that is it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on my next video. Peace.